on running. Keep on hiding. One fine day.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Jaren, and today we are talking about The Running Man. In this story, we follow a man who joins a game show in which contestants allowed to flee anywhere in the world are pursued by hunters hired to kill them. Author-producer Stephen King is having one heck of a year so far, from screen adaptations to TV shows like The Monkey, Life of Chuck, The Institute, The Long Walk, It, Welcome to Derry, and now another iteration of The Running Man to add to that list. The renaissance of King's work has never been more alive and well, but let's face it, not every single adaptation has been Stephen King's favorite. I mean, we can only hope that some type of filmmaker who is willing to tackle any one of his novellas or short stories is going to get the right message across, whether that would be translating what's on the page to the big screen or making it completely their own vision. Now, if you have seen my review for The Long Walk, I'm a sucker for these type of survival genres where we have this dystopian future, this dystopian world where we have these unbeknownst contestants who are just up against one another. It is a fight to the death under the eyes of entertainment. I mean, Battle Royale has been one of those big examples and one of the reasons why I love movies like that with that kind of template, and they just celebrated their 25th anniversary this past year. I wanted to review it, but I just kind of wanted to keep it where it's at. But yeah, I have seen the original 1987 Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I gotta tell you, I am not a fan. As a matter of fact, it's probably one of the more forgettable Schwarzenegger blockbusters that are out there, and I haven't had the chance to read the original source material, and while it has all the ingredients to actually make me love this, it doesn't work for me. So while I wasn't all up in arms with the announcement of a remake, enter in Edgar Wright, the filmmaker behind the Cornetto trilogy like Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and At World's End, and he's also responsible for some instant blockbuster hits such as Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Baby Driver, and Last Night in Soho, which happened to be one of my favorite movies within the last 5 years, and I gotta say, I had all new hopes. And while many of his films that he has directed or written are just drastically and wildly different, he manages to inject his own style, his own flavor, his own flair into each and every single one. And once they announced that they were going to be pairing him up with Glenn Powell as our lead, I just thought that was a match made in heaven. Even the trailer got me hyped. After seeing the movie for myself, I can honestly say that while this is nowhere near the category of worst movie of the year, this was certainly a disappointment. And had I not known this was a movie by Edgar Wright, I would have been a little more kinder, but the longer that I sit with it, the more that I see that it was nothing more than a safe and traditional studio picture. Every distinctive effort from the director that I thought I saw in the trailer severely comes up short. And much like Gareth Evans' Havoc that came out to Netflix earlier this year, I wanted to like it so bad, but its style is a half measure and it merely has no substance in the most mediocre sense. Well, getting into my positives, I really enjoyed the production design of this dystopian world where the rich live full and comfortably advanced, whereas the middle class and the poor live in this rural and grimy side of the city. And you know what, Coleman Domingo here, he is the show host of The Running Man, and he may have a small part, but he stole the show in every chance that he got. You know, Josh Brolin has been one of my favorite actors working in Hollywood, and I'm so used to him being a very broody character, whether he's the protagonist or the antagonist. It was kind of nice to see him have a little bit of fun here as the villain, Dan Killian. He is just responding with that just smile and shit-eating grin all the time. And then I mean, one of my big favorite set pieces of the entire movie is where we are with Michael Cera's character and he just booby-trapped his own house. It's very Home Alone-y. It's very in line with Edgar Wright's signature style in filmmaking, and that's where I got to have a little more fun when it became a little more consistent with some of the really exhilarating camera work and a lot of its cheekiness. Getting into my mixed opinions, while I do think that this is another wonderful showcase of Glenn Powell being the leading man, an action star, an actor with range, I do think that he played the character of Ben Richards just a little too angry. You know what? This man is very angry to the point where it's basically his superpower. I mean, he is just smashing glass with one-hit punches or resisting the effects of a cattle prod with his bare hands. Opposed to the protagonist that we got in the 1987 version, I really like the little details of Glenn Powell's protagonist being this family man, being this blue-collared citizen, where he's just a little more of a likable character. And although you may not agree with many of his decisions to act on impulse, you really empathize with his will, his why, and his stake in the game. Now, getting into my negatives. Now, it wouldn't be the first time that you wanted to have fun with an action thriller that also has emotional stakes and also a societal and political commentary. Unfortunately, it was very water and oil here. They had conflicting tones where it wanted to be over the top and at the same time wanted to be taken seriously. There is a lot of tongue-in-cheek humor here that didn't land the way that it should. There are a lot of dark themes and heart-wrenching moments that feel very undercut by the flow of the script. And even though there is a buffet of action and explosive set pieces, none of it felt coherent, and the pacing felt like a chore to get through, especially when we get to the third act and how they decide to wrap things up towards the end. Other than Lee Pace being our distinctive head honcho to lead our elite hunters, I do miss the idea of sending in quirky assassins in waves of the original movie. I mean, there was a sense of individualism where each killer was kind of like their own personality, where they had a specific look, like their own weapon, a specialty, and even their own little one-liners that was just so silly. But again, it made each and every one of them different. And when it comes to these elite hunters who are ex-spies, ex-special forces, ex-marksmen, and although they have killed other contestants in the Running Man for years before they even go up against Glenn Powell's character, they suddenly become stormtroopers where they can't aim for shit. And I mean, there's one sequence where they are staring down a narrow hallway with Glenn Powell running straight, and they have a clear shot at him, and they shoot everywhere but his body. They couldn't even nip his shoulder. So much for plot armor, and this happens repeatedly. I mean, get the fuck out of here. At this point, just forget about adapting Stephen King's book. You want a better version, a proper remake of the 87 Running Man? Just watch Rob Zombie's 31. I mean, that is a prime example of taking the same template and bringing back those very charismatic, very threatening individual killers. I know it's part of the original source material, but I do think that the 30-day rule in the Running Man show was a plot hole in itself. And what I mean by that is once we find out the reveal of how this game is rigged, it is very routine and problematic for the elite hunters to go after and kill 2 out of the 3 contestants in under 2 weeks' time, all right? They try to avoid citizens participating and killing any of the contestants, and then they suddenly start to really dip, very much peak at viewership and ratings, only to gain more impatient with the final dude evading them and finally just immediately kill him before he could win. I mean, it sucks, especially if you're the final dude and you figure out that every contestant has gone down in flames, has definitely lost this game because these guys are running a particular playbook. And it's because the villains are running this playbook that I thought was very stupid, that it is out there in digital space that they have done this over and over again, and somebody's going to figure out that there is a way to beat that system. I mean, and at that point, once you're like, main contestant starts to gain a little traction, more popularity, and more favorable of the audience, then you gotta change things up. You gotta start keeping everyone on their toes and innovate. I mean, Battle Royale did that. The Hunger Games did it, Squid Game did it, and even Death Race. I mean, once they thought in Death Race where Jason Statham was going to win, they pulled out that secret weapon that they never pulled out before and starts wiping the entire slate clean. It just made no sense that the network fell into the same faults, especially if they were looking to improve themselves, whether they were looking to make the show worth watching this season that was going to be different from the rest. And I mean, I would have just narrowed that shit down from 30 days to 7 days. Heck, make it even 3, because I was not going to watch every single day where we have to watch one character try to record what's going on in his daily life and how he chooses to evade the guys instead of fighting them. Overall, I don't think that this is a terrible movie. I'm sure that I can go back and watch it the second time and enjoy it just a little bit more without the criticisms. With similar movies like and have done it better than The Running Man, this doesn't necessarily reinvent the wheel, nor does it warrant any reason for you to rush out to the theaters to see it. I mean, big props to Glenn Powell and his dedication to a lot of the stunt work that he's done on his own, and definitely has risked his life. But I do think that Glenn Powell and Edgar Wright deserved a lot better. Well, alright guys, that's all I got to share about that movie. Look forward to more reviews. I'm Jaren Ugbanawa. I'm going to want to thank you guys again for taking some time out of your day to hear me talk some movies. I'll see you guys at the theater. In the meanwhile, take care.
One fine day, I gotta be the one to make you understand. Oh yes, I gotta be your man.